What's up, everybody? Blackpill Durden here, and today I just wanted to talk about my case as it is currently in August of 2026. I'm going to Japan in September, hopefully, with my sugar daddy slash. He's more like I don't really consider him my boyfriend per se. He's just like a guy that like pays to take me on holidays with him, So. I'm going on holidays to Japan with him for, I think it's around 10 to 12 days. Potentially, we've discussed it, but I'm not certain yet. Are we going? It's not 100% certain, but it's about 80% certain that we're going. Aside from that, I've just been focusing on trying to make money somehow online. I've joined school communities, teaching people how to make money online in various different ways. So the plan is to basically, by the time I'm like age 27, I'm 25 now. By age 27, I hope to be working remotely from home, you know. And what else? I don't drink. I quit drinking 10 months ago. I haven't drank for about 10 months, longer than that. Nearly 11 months I've been sober. Or I think it's nearly 10 months I've been sober. I've been sober since the 6th of December of 2025, so it's been about 9 months, a little over that, nearly 10 months sober. I'm feeling so much better. My mental clarity is better. I'm feeling so much sharper, mentally more articulate. My cognition has improved across the board. I don't hang out with anyone. I don't keep friends. I don't need them. It's a waste of my fucking time. It's a waste of my energy. Um, a lot of the people that you hang out with, man, they're normies. They're not actually remarkable people in any way, and that goes for the vast majority of people in society, And so there's really no point, There's really no point. One of the guys I was hanging out with, he was extremely toxic and very negative and just over the top, toxic, negative, and he was I didn't realize this until it was too late, but he was trying to put me down. He was trying to cut me down. He was trying to slow me down. He was trying to put the brakes on me because I'm a decent looking man and I have a lot of potential to look even better. I'm a relatively intelligent man. I have the potential to make good money in the future and date a lot of women and sleep with a lot of women, when I get older, if everything goes to plan, as planned. If I find a way to make money online, if I get my surgeries and so on. Um, so I just cut him out, cut him off. I cut him out of my life. I cut him off. Um, the kind of moment in which I realized that he was trying to screw me over and he was just trying to put the brakes on me and he was just trying to cut me down and he was just trying to prevent me from ascending and prevent me from looking and feeling my best was when I actually told him, you know, that I am planning to basically ditch him and just, you know, um, go my own way. One of the things he said to me that day was, "You're looking a lot better now that you take care of yourself." Because there was a period in time for about maybe like a year where when I was hanging out with this guy, I was actually afraid. Guys, I was afraid to look good. I was afraid to look my best. I was afraid to dress well. I was afraid to style my hair and get nice haircuts and so on. And it's because it was this guy. Every time I hung out with him, if I looked better than he did, which I always did, not to mention that I'm taller and broader and everything else, you know, he would like be really negative and toxic and it's just the vibe was just really off. Like it's like we're supposed to be friends, we're supposed to be buddies, but it's like he's competing with me almost. And it's like he's trying to put me down and he's trying to cut me down and he's just trying to get inside my head and make me feel bad and prevent me from looking and feeling my best and so on. And if I dressed well and I fucking styled my hair and I was good looking and everything, he would just get so fucking pissy about that. So he was a very negative influence in my life, and I just said fuck this guy, and I just stopped hanging out with him. And it's like ever since I stopped hanging out with this guy, my life has only gotten better across every single category. I'm not joking. My mental health is so good now that I'm very stable and I'm very happy most of the time. I have some depressive episodes here and there, but I'm so much more stable and happy. I've went on dates with people. I've traveled the country of Ireland. I've went to nightclubs. I've went on nights out. You know, um, made out with girls. You know, and so it's like my life's only gotten better since I cut him off. And it's just the peace of mind, guys. It's just the peace of mind that I have. Because the thing is, the vast majority of people in society are not like him. You know, you can dress amazingly, you can look fantastic, you can style your hair, you could be the most beautiful man walking down the street. And the vast majority of people, because they are decent people, because they are good people, you know, will not try to cut you down, will not try to insult you, will not try to make you feel bad, will not try to manipulate you, get into your head, slow you down in some way, sabotage you somehow. And that goes for men and women. And women, young women, or women of all ages, but especially young women who are single, they will give you a lot more attention. They'll treat you really well when you're a good looking man, when you're well dressed and you're handsome and your hair is nice. And, you know, um, other men will like you. Not in a romantic sexual way, unless they are gay or bisexual, which is relatively uncommon. But straight men will treat you well. They will compliment you. They will, treat you like a gentleman when you're good looking, when you're dressed well. They will seek friendships with you. They will seek out friendships with you. They will seek out connections with you. You know, um, so yeah, they'll compliment you. You know, and they'll think you're really cool. But there's some men, like this toxic guy that I used to hang out with, who was really short. He's a manlet, and he's just really toxic and really negative, and just like, oh, very competitive, but like in the worst way, like in a non-civilized way. Like he would like literally threaten an attractive man with violence because that's how insecure he is about himself. You know, just to keep an attractive man in his place. It's really fucking sad. Like, how fucking uncivilized, what a brute this man is, and I'm so happy that he's out of my life. So, surgery wise, I want to get a forehead reshaping, recontouring to make it a little bit flatter and more even. I want to get something to correct the asymmetry in my face, like a Bimax, to correct my dental asymmetry and the asymmetry in my face and the asymmetry with my nose. Um, and I think maybe mid-face implants here, mid-face implants, because I have a very kind of flat mid-face. So an implant here and here, to make my mid-face pop, to make my cheekbones, my zygos look bigger. Um, and maybe something for the jawline. I have a decent jaw, as you can see, but I want to make it a slightly nicer jawline, better shaped, maybe like a recontouring or an implant or something like that. And I might shave, although I do look slightly better with light stubble. I need to fix my skin because I've got a lot of like pimples on my skin, so I use beef tallow and honey balm, and it seems to be working, so I'm going to keep using that. And if that doesn't give me the desired results, I think I'm going to go for laser skin resurfacing potentially in the future, which is not too expensive here in this country. in certain clinics, and then I want to get a hair transplant. I'm on finasteride, but I did lose quite a bit of hair before I started taking finasteride, so my hair is not as dense as it should be, as it was before I started Norwooding. So I'm gonna get a hair transplant, as well, and I'm also gonna get a beard transplant because I want to have a nice beard because I cannot seem to grow facial hair here. I can only grow facial hair here and here, but not here. Here as well, but just not here. So yeah, that's kind of everything. That's kind of all. You know, um, don't hang out with toxic men who are trying to constantly put you down, especially if you're an attractive guy or a decent looking guy. You know, if you have solid genes, you're decent looking, do not hang out with negative men, toxic men who are trying to put you down, who are trying to prevent you from taking good care of yourself because it makes them feel bad when you look good. You know, these are not your friends, dude. These guys are not your fucking friends, dude. I don't know what I was thinking. These kinds of guys are not your friends. You know, they are backstabbing you, they are competing against you. They're trying to put you down. You can never be attractive, good looking, feel good, feel your best, be mentally healthy and everything else and be happy because they don't want that. Because they're miserable. And they want you to be miserable or more miserable than they are, or as miserable as they are, or more miserable than they are. So don't hang out with men like that. Just, it's not worth it. Just say fuck you and just get the fuck out of there and just never talk to this guy again. Um, to be honest, most male friendships are kind of bullshit if you think about it, so be very selective. If it's a friend that you have and you guys have a lot in common and you go out, and you hang out and you have a great time and you're both helping each other in life to improve in life, to ascend, to look better and feel better and make more money and be more successful with women and so on, then that's a real friendship. That's a real male friend that you want to keep on to. And I have a friend like that, so but he lives in Miami now, so I haven't seen him in a while. But that's about it, guys. That's about it. I hope I got the message across. You know, to be honest, it's better to be a lone wolf in this life than it is to hang out with most people. You know, it's better to be a lonely man, you know, on your own path and purpose than it is to hang out with most other men. The competition for women is quite simple. Stay in your own lane. Forget about every other man. Forget about what they're doing. Forget about how they look. Forget about how much better or how much worse they are than you are. You know, stay within your own lane. Do the work. Go to the gym. Work out. Build a better physique. You know, work. Get a job or study or you know set up an e-commerce platform or sorry an account in some e-commerce platform and sell something or find a way to work remotely from home and you know invest in some kind of a skill that will eventually lead to you making money with the said skill, so like carpentry or fixing computers or some bullshit, you know just focus on yourself, man. Focus on yourself. Don't let negative people get into your head. Don't let ugly, like toxic men, you know, convince you that you're selfish or bad or I don't even know, like the whole myriad of psychological warfare that they can wage on you as a man, you know, when you're trying to improve yourself to make yourself of a higher value so you can find a decent woman, or you can date women, you know, like the myriad, the myriad of things that they can put into your head, you know, to make you sabotage yourself. is like unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. So that's why I say the most important thing that you could do is listen to absolutely no one, you know, unless you have a good friend who's smart, who's good looking, who's taking care of himself, and so on, and he's giving you good advice, you take that. But if somebody's trying to sabotage you in some way, you know, and hold you back in some way and sabotage you in some way, stay away. Stay away. Stick to yourself. Be on your own. Go to the gym, work out, get haircuts, you know, go to the gym, work out, get haircuts, look your best, feel your best, you know, create yourself into the kind of man that women would absolutely adore, you know, save up money, get surgeries, whatever, you know, it's all good, man. It's all good. A lot of people will say like that a man getting extensive amounts of cosmetic surgery to look better is cheating his genetic potential. But guys, it is what it is. The game is the game. You want to look amazing, you want to look really flattering, and you want women to like you, and you want women to adore you, and this kind of thing. It's fine, man. If it's all part of the game, it's perfectly fine. If it's within the rules of the game, it's perfectly fine. So um, yeah, that's about it. That's about all I had to say. So peace out. I'm gonna go to the gym in about an hour or two, and then you know, I'll see what I'm gonna do for the rest of the day.